Hey there, and welcome to my channel. My name is Crafty Kathy, and I'm so happy and thankful that you stopped in to craft and spend a little time with me today. I made some gorgeous DIY decor, and you are not going to believe that I got my items from the Dollar Tree. The first item that I'm going to start off with is this beautiful ornate frame. Now, I grabbed mine during Halloween, but I have seen these out at Christmas. It's in the Dollar Tree Plus section, and I paid $3 for mine. Mine had a skeleton on the front of it, but I painted over it in a previous DIY. I try to use my frames and stuff as much as I can to save money because I do so many DIYs. So I'm just going to pop this out of the frame. One of my favorite things to do to make any project beautiful is decoupage. Now, Lori over at Milton's Daughter sent me this gorgeous rice paper with Santa Claus on it, and I'm so in love with it and had to use it. If there's anything that I like more than having budget-friendly DIYs, it's having easy, simple DIYs, and I love to use my Elmer's glue stick. Now, this is a permanent bond, and I have these in my Amazon store in case you want some of these. A lot of people question me and ask, do these stick on? Even the purple ones, just the regular glue stick, are absolutely amazing, and you won't get any wrinkles, and they're so easy to use. So what I do is I'm just going to put it down, and I'm holding my paper like this because I don't want it to move. I know exactly where it needs to fall so that the frame is going to cover it up perfect. And I did one half of it, and you see I'm kind of starting from the middle of that picture and rubbing outward so that I'm not going to wrinkle my paper up. And I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side. You can do your decoupage any way that you like. A lot of people like to use Mod Podge, but I just find that it's so much easier to do it with the glue stick. And like I said, I'm not only into budget friendly, but I'm absolutely into the easiest and quickest way to get the DIY done. And after I have both of my sides down, I'm just starting off kind of from the center of that paper again and going all the way around to make sure we have a really good bond. Then I grab my little hand sander, and I'm just going to gently go all around the edges, going from the top in a downward motion so I can make sure to get all of that paper off of there, and it makes a perfect edge every time. Hey, I want to thank you so much for stopping in and watching my video. I am so glad that you stopped in to craft and spend time with me today. I have so many amazing Christmas DIYs planned for you guys, so if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, hit that little red subscribe button and become a part of our family. We would love to have you. Also, if you're enjoying the video so far, hit the like button and don't forget to hype it. Now you can see where I'm using that little hand sander, and this is really sped up, but how easily it comes off of there, and it's always a perfect edge every time. So the next thing that I'm going to do is grab my frame, flip it over, and put the screws back on there, and this is turning out so beautiful already. Now it's time to jazz this picture up, and this is what makes it so beautiful. I took a little fan brush and some Mod Podge, and I'm just kind of going around the edges because I'm going to use a new product that I have never tried before in my life. This is glass glitter, and Lori sent me this. It's very fine, and you know I love my glitter at Christmas time, so she had called me and was like, I want to send you something to try and let me know what you think about this. This is actual glass, and it's very, very fine, but you can get it in different grit. You just know anytime that I'm using glitter, I normally go for the very fine, very, very fine glitter. And this stuff is like, I can't even describe the look of it. It takes glitter to a whole nother level. when I first started putting it on, I wasn't sure exactly how much to use, so I did a light layer. And it didn't take me long to realize how much I was liking it, and so I wanted to add some more. My motto is to always start off, especially if it's something that you've never tried before, start off with a little bit, because if you like it, you can always add more. Well, I just realized that I was going to use a whole lot more. So anywhere where I was thinking of wanting it to really glitter, like on his hat there, the white of his hat, and the little puffy ball on the end of his hat, I put a lot of that glitter. And I always have to learn things the hard way. I don't know what about using glass with my bare hands that I thought was a good idea. But I got a tiny little shard of glass in the end of my finger because the way that I was picking it up out of the little container there. So if you do use this, just be cautious because hello, it's glass. Mama always said I was hard-headed, and it seems like the older I get and when I do silly stuff, when I'm just not thinking or using my two little brain cells, I'm like, wow, Mom, I am so sorry for everything that I put you through. But that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. So I mostly went around the edges. Well, actually, no, I didn't. I went over the whole picture. And when I was satisfied, I was just amazed at the way this looked. Now we're going to use the rub and buff that's called Gold Leaf. You can see that I've already went over this with the bronze. You know, I've been into that bronze color for years. It's a pentart color. But this year, I'm kind of into the golds, it's a first for me, to be honest with you. Gold has never been my thing. But hey, all of the hot Christmas decor has gold on it. So I thought, we're going to use this gold leaf, and I'm absolutely loving the way that this looks up against that black. And my favorite way to put rub and buff or any kind of wax on is with my finger, especially when the frame is so ornate like this one is. It just is perfect. Now, I have one of the new IOD molds, and it's the one that has this, it's called Snow Globes, and this little star came off of it. I wanted this star to be 3D, so I covered it with the rub and buff, and I'm going to stick it right over the star that Santa is putting up on the tree. I finished putting the rub and buff all on the little beads, and then the last thing that I did was put one of these pre-made bows that I get off of Amazon. These are in my Amazon store in case you need some. You have to see a close-up of this glitter, but it still doesn't do it justice.
Christmas lights are all around. I can see them now. It's like they spell your name. It's insane. Now we're back here once again. Holidays and cheer. But now I got my eye set on you.
On the second DIY, I'm going to use another piece of rice paper for this. Now, I just got all of these rice papers just this week, and I am so excited about them. And I wanted to show you some of the different ones that Lori has over at Milton's Daughter. She told me to let you guys know she's still running that special for a limited time. If you order any IOD Christmas transfer book, you get a rice paper of your choosing for free. I'm not sure how long that's going to last, but I'll leave her information down below. Now, I got this little plaque here from the Dollar General, not Dollar Tree, but Dollar General. I find a lot of their stuff is better quality, and a lot of it's still $1. I would say it's about an 8 by 8. The first thing that I did was run a sander over that little part on the top because it was a little raised. And then I cleaned it off, and I'm going to do 2 coats of the color beadboard. Anytime that I'm decoupaging, I like to use a lighter background like a white or maybe a cream color because it really makes your image pop. And also, I did not paint around that red ring because I wasn't sure if it would show or not, but I thought that it might give a little added flair if it did show. So the rice paper that I wanted to use here was this beautiful little bird. And I guess I have a thing for birds, especially cardinals at Christmas time, but just a thing for birds in general. Now I cut it off because most of this is going to have to be covered up by this wreath, but I wasn't sure exactly where we were going to need the edges to be. So I took the wreath to find out, and that wreath was also in the Dollar Tree Plus section, and it was during the fall. You can see it's kind of rickety looking, and it's just because I had used it and then taken some of the stuff off of it. I'm going to use my water pen and just do a really generic line around this. You know I don't like straight edges when I'm decoupaging, but honestly, even if these were straight edges, they're not going to show with that wreath over the top of them. So in case you don't know, the water pen is just that. It's a little pen that has water in it, and it's for decoupaging in particular. But if you don't have one, you can just wet the end of a very fine paintbrush. That's what I've done for years, and just go around, because when you wet that paper, it makes the tearing process very easy. And when it's torn, it just has a more organic look. It looks like it was always there. And whereas a lot of times when the edges show, you can see that harsh edge and it doesn't look right. So I keep putting the wreath over the top just so that I know where my rice paper needs to be, because I don't want to move it once I find my placement. I'm just going to use the regular old glue stick for this one because it's really pretty much sufficient enough as it is. And I'm going to do just like I did the first time. I'm going to do half of the picture so it does not move, and then the other half. I start off in the middle and kind of rub my fingers outward to make sure we have a good stick. And here I was afraid that that top edge would show, and I didn't want that harsh line. So I wet it and just kind of ripped it off too, so we could have that torn look. And I once again laid that wreath on the top to make sure that my placement was right. And then I went around with just a little bit of the glue stick around the rim of it so that I would know that my wreath is going to hit exactly where I want it to. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is put down some parchment paper. I'm going to be using some of this glass glitter that is a red color, and it's really chunky and fine. And I learned from that first project that you don't want to lose any of your glitter when when you have the fallout at the end. So it's best to put down some type of parchment paper. I wanted to make his whole hat beautifully sparkly red. She sent me some thin, like a thin fine grit, and then this is a chunkier grit, which I've never really tried glitter this chunky. And if I'm not mistaken, the bigger the chunks of the glass, the smaller the grit is. I was thinking that this was like a 70 grit, and then the one that I used before that was really fine was like a 90 grit. I'm just going to use a very small paintbrush, and I just put a little bit of Mod Podge here on the little ornaments that are on his tree, and I'm going to use that glitter to lay on top of that and make the ornaments look really 3D. And then there was like a little red bow at the bottom, and I put a little bit there too. And for you guys that have stuck around my channel for any length of time, you know I like my white glitter or clear glitter, whatever you want to call it, at Christmas time. So I got this beautiful white glass glitter, and I'm going to make his hat really pop and the little ball on the hat here, just like I did the Santa Claus in the first one. I have a strong feeling that me and this glass glitter are going to be really good friends this Christmas. And so now what I'm going to do is decorate this scraggly, haggly old wreath. So I just have some different picks here. I have some cedar picks, some pine picks, and these came in a pack of, there was like just 3 different varieties, and I got them from Amazon. But I also just have like some leftover picks. I just want to fill this wreath in, and I don't want to do anything drastic. I just want it to be very simple. I'm going to go in that same motion that the twigs, or whatever you want to call it, that the wreath is made out of. You see that they're kind of like in a wisping motion going around to the side bent. Well, that's what I want to do with my different little sprigs. And since they're made out of wire, they're very easy just to maneuver the way that you want them to go. So I'm just going to go around, and I have different colored ones, but I like that because I think it brings a little bit more variety to your wreath. Instead of it all looking the exact same, if you have just different textures in your wreath and different colors even, it just kind of brings out a little something special. At the time, I was thinking that I didn't want anything to take away from my little birdie's red hat and those ornaments. So the only red that I added was this remnant of a pick that came from Walmart. And it's literally just the remnant of a pick. It's got a rusty bell on it, a little bit of red berries, and then it was like a half of a sprig of something that was left. And I'm going to go around, and now I'm adding the pine picks. The first ones that I added was the cedar. Now I'm just going to add a little bit of the pine picks. I'm putting a little bit of glue underneath my bell because it's so heavy. I don't want it to fall away. And I added a little bit of red berries underneath it. But after I took my pictures and this DIY is done, I'm really thinking about going back in and adding red berries around the wreath. Not a whole lot, but just a couple here or there, because as I was taking my pictures, I kind of felt like maybe it needed that. I did add this one pick that had a pine cone on it because I thought it kind of went with the vibe. Then the very last thing I did to this wreath was take my cutters and just kind of cut back some of those twigs because I thought that they were just a little bit too much in some spots. And I hope you like this one. It's very simple, but it's gorgeous. This last DIY is so fast. If you blink, you'll miss it. You grab yourself one of these vases from the Dollar Tree, and they have these angel wings. They're in the ornament section, but last year I searched far and wide to get a few of these different wings. I couldn't find them. I ended up paying $1.97 off of Temu for mine. You're going to put just a little string of glue up at the top, right underneath the neck, and we are just going to simply glue our wings on. If you want this to be a permanent hold, by all means, use E6000 or the fix-all glue that comes from the Dollar Tree. I'm not going to make this permanent, so that's why I'm using hot glue for mine. The next thing that I'm going to do is pop the top off of this, and I have some blue fairy lights. And I love fairy lights. I like a lot of my holiday decor to light up. And I'm just going to stick the fairy lights down in here. Now, our fairy lights has the little button to turn it off and on, and you're going to need to put it in a place where you can flip it on whenever you want to. And you're also going to want to try to hide it. I find the easiest place is right in the middle underneath the wings. So I just put a little bit of hot glue down, and I glued mine down, and you can see from the front, you can't even see that battery pack at all. Since my lights were blue, I really wish I had some blue pipe cleaners, but I didn't. They're in my other craft room, of course. And I do have these green ones, and I was dying for you to see what this would look like. And when the lights are off, you can't really tell what color it is. But I just made this little makeshift halo with the pipe cleaner, and you just glue it on. And that's simply all you do to this one. It took me less than 3 minutes to make, and it's so beautiful. Hey, if you stuck with me through all of today's video, I just want to thank you so much for coming and spending a little time with me today. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I would love for you to do that. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like and the hot button. That really lets YouTube know that you guys enjoyed my video, and they'll put it out there to people who've never seen my content before, and that way I can keep on making these DIYs for you guys. My videos come out every Monday and Thursday at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and I hope that I see you guys back here in the next one. Have a great holiday, and I'll see you real soon, as long as the good Lord's willing and the creek don't rise. Did you know that if you're watching from a phone or tablet, you can tap on my face and subscribe to my channel? And I would love for you to do that. Also, if you enjoyed this Christmas DIY video, there's another one that's very similar. Tap on it, and it'll take you there in a minute. God bless you and your families.